Okay, so we've got our first step done of our sky and our moon. Now we're going to work on this first mountain. And to do this, it's basically the same process that we did in the sky. We're going to wet this whole area. And once again, I'm really wanting that water to get into the paper. So I take my time, get it nice and wet. Not really any puddles, but it's definitely wet. And I'm wetting the whole entire mountain. And remember how we said this one is going to be a little, there's not a lot going on in this mountain because we're going to have trees that cover it up. So we just really need it to be a placeholder and have some color in it, but not steal the show. Okay, so we've got that nice and wet. I'm going to come back into my purple and blue mixture here. I'm really grabbing a little more purple this time, so it's going to be on the purple end of the spectrum. And I'm going to start at the bottom here. And I really am just dropping in color. Wherever it goes is wherever it goes. I'm not trying to make trees or any type of landscape elements. I'm just really dropping in color. Mostly on the purple end. Rinse off my brush. And now I'm also going to grab some of this mauve color. And right into what I already have there, I'm going to drop some of the mauve. And maybe even a little of this phthalo. Just a few drops of that. Now I'm going to let gravity do its thing. So I'm going to tilt my paper and you can see how it starts to move up. And I'm just going to take a slightly damp brush. So I don't have a lot of water on my brush. And I'm just kind of coaching it up to the edge here. And you see how I'm coaching and then I'll wipe my brush. So I kind of do it in stages. Take some of the water out. And once I have it to this point, you can see how I've got a little puddle happening here. You just swipe your brush, take some of that pigment out, clean my brush. I can even take some pigment out here where I'm going to let it, the moon kind of glow over here. So I'm just going to wipe out some of that pigment. Make that a little less intense than this. While it's still wet, I can come back in and add just a little. We don't want this too dark. Remember, this one's going to be our dark one. But do remember that it is going to dry a little lighter. So now I can come back in with some lighter colors. I'm grabbing some pink here and just dotting that into my landscape here. Let those colors mix and mingle. I've got just clean water. You don't want to do too much clean water. You don't want it too wet because everything will just start to run together. It'll look like a big blob. But we do want a little visual interest on this one. Now I'm going to come back in with just a little tiny bit of the yellow. And you can see I'm dropping it right on top of some of those pink areas. This is when I say just kind of let the painting take over. I want this to be a little lighter, so I think I'm just taking a rumpled up paper towel here and I'm just taking out some of that pigment. And I'll come back in with a little watery pink and just dance that into some of those sections. This also will mean that because you took out some wetness with your paper towel, things will start to dry at different levels, which is good for your mountain because it makes it look like there's different things happening on the mountain back there. But that is pretty much it. Don't fiddle too much with this one because like I said, it's going to be part of the background. So that's it for that one.